So, we are now at stanza number 143 of 9th chapter. This there's slightly differences in different commentaries on how how the things are kind of the content of this is divided and placed and things like that. But according to the Bodhicharyavatara Rinpoche's tradition, Khenpo Kompal's commentary, this part, I'm not totally going through the Khenpo Kompal's commentary also. I'm trying to make it much simpler. But in that commentary, then, this part is explained, in kind of three reasons, looking at the causes, looking at the nature, looking at the results. The three main reasonings, we already talked a little bit about the diamond splinter, that's looking at the causes. Then the second is looking at the nature, and that is the Tendel Chambo, or looking at the reasoning of interdependence, and then looking at the results. So now we come to the second one, which is looking at the nature of any entity, and trying to see how this thing is. And then because everything that exists, everything that is something that is there, is an interdependent entity, dependent entity, relative entity. So therefore, through this reasoning, or through this logic, or through this understanding of interdependence, we find its nature as emptiness. So in Khenpo Kompal's commentary, so then, like the last two lines of 142 is also comes to the, in this group. Like, what confusion takes for truth in any sense be different from a mirage? But whether you put it up or down doesn't really matter. So in confusion, or a mind that is confused, or confusion that we see, through confusion, through deluded mind, we see something, whatever we see it's truly existing, but actually when we look deeply, everything is interdependently there, dependently existing, relatively existing. Nothing is existing on its own, independently, and there is nothing truly one. There's nothing which is truly permanent. Everything is dependent on something. Only when lots of causes and conditions come together, then things are there. If they are not there, it's not there. So therefore it's called interdependent. So then what is, how is this different from a mirage? We don't say that mirages do truly exist. It doesn't truly exist. It's an illusion. So in the same way, everything, anything, all the phenomena seems to be like that. 143 things then bodied forth by magic spells, and that which is displayed in dint of causes. Whence have these arisen, we should ask, and where they go to, that we should examine. What is seen when such circumstances meet, and is not seen in absence of the same, is not real. It's like an image in a mirror. How can true existence be ascribed to it? So these two stanzas is the, explains. Now I'll just read the Tibetan first and then a little bit explain. Mumbi dembar konshin de jimalin chechiyus. Jumi tulwa konyotung jina jine kontraba. Dena kone onchirchi kondon rong tabrichi. Konshi kone nyewa yin tonjir teme na munpa jusu zunye tonsamba tela deni jatayus. So this is the, the Tibetan. So what actually it says is, the first two lines, there's nothing we cannot understand. Everything that we see and all the things that if we look deeply, it doesn't, only when the causes are there, all the causes and conditions and elements are there, it is there. And when they are not there, it is not there. And these causes and conditions, each are dependent on their own causes and conditions. But none of the causes and conditions are also existing on its own. They are also like the same as this particular thing. And so therefore, and if we look at the causes also, the causes doesn't exist. The result doesn't exist in the cause doesn't exist in the result, but when the causes are together appears, when one of the causes disappears, it disappears or it completely changes. It doesn't come from anywhere. It is not something it was there before and it came from somewhere when the right causes happened. When right causes disappear, it just disappears. It doesn't go anywhere. There's nowhere to go. There's nothing to go. So then, how can we say it's not same as mirage, same as dream, same as as illusion? So therefore, something that is created with illusion, or that is something illusory, or something that is, that is arisen due to different causes and conditions, is no difference, because it doesn't come from anywhere. It doesn't truly exist anywhere or in any way. It doesn't go anywhere. So if you look deeply into the nature of anything, it's totally relatively there, dependently there, mostly there with imputation also, and there is nothing totally exists on its own. When these different relative and dependent elements, if one is not there, it just disappears, and it doesn't go anywhere. And each of these causes or elements which seems to create this thing is also like that. It's also illusory. It's also magic-like. It's also dream-like. So therefore, there's nowhere to come, nowhere to go, nowhere to remain. Nothing to come, nothing to go, nothing to remain. And it appears when the causes are there. It disappears when the causes cease to be there, or all the elements cease to be there. So there, that, how can we say it truly exists? Nothing truly exists. And to understand deeply is the understanding of interdependence. To understand that truly is the understanding of emptiness, and that's it. And so there are different in the sutras. 8 examples are given. One is like magic. Another is like vapor, or one is like dews. It's there, and then the sun shines, it's gone. One is like a dream. One is like, a rainbow, and all these things, like this kind of 7, 8 examples. Buddha says that anything that is arisen because of conditions, it is unborn, it is uncreated, it's not there. Because there's nothing truly created, or truly arising, or truly there. And anything that is dependent on the conditions, which is existence is dependent on conditions, that is in nature emptiness. And whoever understands this emptiness, that person becomes, mindful. He understands things. He's not, he or she will understand the nature of everything. So therefore, do not have to get too much attached to things, because when they are like dream, like a mirage, like dews on the grass, morning grass, and you are also like that. Why you have to be attached to it? How can you be attached? There is nothing, you don't need to be. And in the same way, you can't be afraid. You can't have aversion, You can't be shocked, because, when everything is like that, our life is like that. The world is like that. Our, material gains are like that, everything is like that. So, we can't be too attached. We can't have too much aversion. We can't have too much. You can't be too much angry or hatred or jealousy or pride of whether we have something or we don't have another thing. We can't be. We understand the true nature. So therefore, we have to become a little bit more, what can you say? Feeling deep understanding, more understanding. So, we have to become more peaceful. We can't be not so much perturbed or disturbed by anything. We can't be too shocked. We have to become shock-proof. So therefore, much deeper. Whatever happens, it becomes okay. That's why it says mindful, or more careful. Careful is here not really the right word, but payu. That's why Nagarjuna said, Tenjin renjong matu pi chunga yopa mayinte. There's tonya mayin pi chunga yopa mayin. Nagarjuna says there is nothing which is not interdependent. If you look at anything, anything, if there is anything that is interdependently existing, there is nothing which does not exist interdependently or dependently or relatively. So therefore, there is nothing which exists or which seems to be there, which is not emptiness in its nature. So that's the understanding of emptiness. And understanding of emptiness is same as understanding of interdependence. And therefore, understanding of emptiness and interdependence is the deeply understanding the nature, how things really exist. So this is the philosophy or the reasoning on interdependence. And sometimes the way to go through, although this is not mentioned here, some go through is, if you look at anything, then you examine whether this is one thing or many things. So there is nothing you can say is just one thing, because there is nothing which is not, created or with not comes because of many causes, many conditions, many elements, many parts, and things like that. So you look at each of these parts, each of these elements, each of these causes, and they are also like that, many. And then till you go down to the smallest, the minutest entity, until that totally disappears, it's made of many. But then you say this is made of many things, but you don't find one even in the tiniest element of it. Because if it is one, it doesn't exist. It has to be because of causes, conditions, elements, parts, and there can't be a totally partless particle. So if you can't find anything that is truly, ultimately one, then what is talking about many? Because many is made of many one. So there is no many, no one, so it is interdependent. That's one way of looking, one way of analysis, but it's not mentioned here, so we don't have to talk too much about that. But so anyway, that's I will stop here. It was mainly 43 and 44, stanza 43 and 44. Thank you.